Hi. So today I'm in this park. I don't remember which sector, but sector 19 के पास है द्वारका में. It's a very beautiful park. That's why I came here. Especially वैसे तो पास में कर सकते थे, but वैसे I have recorded a smaller video जिसमें I've just tried to show the flower bed or the flower beds here, right? But इस वाले वीडियो में I'll just give you a glimpse sort of a, you know, it's a very quick 360-degree view of the place. ठीक है? So okay. So as usual, I've not planned this video a lot. So whatever comes out, but I just felt like I should talk about truth. Okay, plain speaking. वीडियो प्लेन को छोड़ा दिखता है, but actually so I'll talk about what I want to talk about, और फिर you can see how beautiful this park is, so you can soak in the beauty like me. ठीक है? Dwarka is amazing park. So why do we need truth, or what is truth? Well, what is truth? I don't know. But we definitely have a need to search for truth, right? So when we go to classes or school जाते हैं, so what is the objective? Today 12th class and 10th class results came out, CBSE. So that is why the topic kind of becomes relevant. I mean, it is always relevant, but maybe right now it's a bit more apt and fit to talk about this, because it is topical. So see, nice, huh? Matlab, see, so the thing is, what is the essence? What are we doing, right? So why do you have all these classes? Why do you have इतने subjects होते हैं? Learning, courses, right? And you have so many subjects. So today I was reading CBSE website. I'll go a bit deeper in CBSE and all that, because it's been what 20 odd years since I gave my 10th exams, right? So now I know, and आज results आए किसी के, तो फिर those kids would be, they're entering the process which I think I have, well, I've gained a bit of knowledge about that whole thing that they're doing, and all of us are still doing anyway, right? There's no end to education, no? So why do they have all this? I mean, life is perfectly fine, maybe, from some points of views. क्या करना है, मतलब इंग्लिश, हिंदी, मैथ और फिजिक्स, मतलब क्या मतलब है? So I don't want to go into the utility of कि भाई ठीक है, so we have all these apartments and we came out of thought process and everything, right? But मतलब there are so many other members in the animal kingdom, so to say. तो उनका इतना intellect नहीं होता, and they don't know, they don't have that need. So why do we have this need? So I don't know why do we have that need, but I know I just want to capture what drives us, okay? And maybe try to sort of, I don't know, filter some meaning out of it, because once you know na, so then everything becomes a bit more a bit more. I'll keep this video around 30-40 minutes. इससे ज़्यादा मैं खींचने का मुझे लगता है फ़ायदा है, ठीक है? So अंदर चलता हूँ, बारिश, it's not nice. So what is a bit more maybe livable, right? Well, life is anyway livable, right? but in the livable in the purest form, or in the truest form. I think once we know, once we have knowledge, right, and that's what it's about. So when you have a, when you go to school, when you pursue education, or when you start on your educational journey, and if you're a small child and you're given a set of books, so, and it kind of excites you. I mean, it did excite me. So I can only hope that it excited others, and you want to sort of know more about things that you're reading, or the word that the CBSE website. So let me sort of detail the website as CBSE has put out. So they say that they have about 25,000 plus schools that those who are affiliated with the board, and then you know they go into I mean they go into the depths of why schools should kind of choose their board, or what they bring to the table, right, for schools and for learners. Okay, so they say that we have this. They say we have labs, and we have our schools are enriched, and we have a good spacious setting where learners can develop their develop themselves, right, uh, inner and outer self. Okay, and all that. So and they say that um, so the educational program um, comes with labs and libraries and music and dance and sports and whatnot. And now they have made an effort to go beyond rote learning and say involve uh, what they say is they used a very the words that they used were they sort of hit a nerve. So I want to recall what those words were, or maybe even remember that phrase, but abhi aa nahi raha. So it is more so to more in the lines of development of, so moving beyond rote learning and say developing self, or developing enrichment or something like that. So that's what their goal is. So which is good on their part, right? A lot of things they did not have earlier. So in last 20 odd years they have made these changes. Okay, but the question is, what are they trying to do? And that's the question for everybody, because at the end of the day, all of us went to some schools, and we were also we also studied under some board. So I'm not talking about board or any particular organization particular, but the thinking behind it, right? So that's what my interest is. So the idea is that why should there be a board in the first place? That's an argument. Why should there be a program, education program in the first place? See, education program, before it becomes interesting for society, uh, it is about a belief that life essentially should have value. That we have a big group, say a class, and that class should engage in something meaningful together, right? And those two things are important. It has to be meaningful, and um, it has to be together. Now, why together? Why, that's another issue. But I mean, I think if you want to get the full value out of it, right? If you want to get full value, then the education program should be meaningful and together. Okay, so those are two things. And what does it mean by meaningful? Meaningful means that things should have meaning, that life in general should have meaning, that experiences should have meaning, that if you're alive, then you should be engaging in something which is meaningful for you, right? Otherwise, self will not be enriched, right? You sort of, borrowing from whatever they used on their own website. So those things are important. We should go to that side, right? Let's move over to that section. So, take it. So this video is turning more about education, so let it be like that. So the thing is that why do we need education to begin with? And like I said, meaningful endeavor. And the one word was enrichment. That is one of the words that they used on the website somewhere. So enrichment, meaningful experience, right? And people pay a lot of money for that. यहाँ पे द्वारका में school fees around 10,000 for good school, for a nice school, right? For a very good school, maybe it's about more than 20,000 or something. I don't know, 18, 19, whatever, right? And people are paying for that, right? And they should, I think, right? Now, I mean, how it should reach people who cannot afford such programs or anything, that's another issue, right? That I'll try to discuss in subsequent videos on this topic, because I think I will talk about education for the next few videos at least. Okay, so right, it has to be meaningful, and it has to be enriching, and it has to be together, right? Okay. Now the thing is that then within this, so there's that desire to have something like this, right? The desire that when people are in their learning stage. Now the question is, when does the learning stage end? So I don't want to get into that, but let this be left to the learner themselves. Hello, very small baby. Okay, so but let's say the learner likes to learn, and and so the learner should engage in something. So the first thing is that what should a learner do? So the learner should engage in something enriching, meaningful, and so togetherness, and an experience which kind of covers all those things, maybe more, right? But these are just the starting points. So you should have something, a program like that. That is something which is sort of self-evident, I think, right? So that's the starting point. So the fundamental drive is that our life should have meaning individually and together, and it should have value, say, of togetherness, and then you have all the other values. Some of those values are in 51A also, in fundamental duties, that every individual should engage in scientific inquiry, or at least they should have scientific approach, to thinking. Okay, then you have other things. To pursuit of excellence is there. So these are all the ideas that one can bind together when one talks about an educational program. Okay, so the question is why? Why? Because when you have all these things together, right? So the expectation or maybe realization or the assumption. First you have assumption, then maybe you'll have realization that life is a bit more meaningful. It's a bit more livable, enjoyable, enriched, right? So the word is, let's focus on the word enriched and enrichment. So why should life be enriched? So we just know as people, right, that our life should be enriched, right? So at least there are at least it is clear to me, right? Maybe it is not clear to some, I don't know. Maybe they find joy in say frivolous things, I don't know. Okay, but I don't even know if that could be called joy in the first place, right? But as far as I can see, enrichment brings joy, right? And which is something personal. So nothing can be replaced. They can be nothing other than enrichment, which can give you the same joy or higher joy, so to say, right? So there is a thing called higher joy that learner should engage in, right? So that is the reason why one has those. They have about 210 subjects now. They say that they don't force students to pick a side, pick a stream. So students are free to pick whatever course is there. Now this is something which I missed. Now I have other issues also that um, but I'll cover those things later on. But at least this particular thing they have got right, which is, this is something which I felt, say, when I was in school 18-19 years ago in class 10th. It's something which I felt, because I wanted to study a lot of courses, but they were kind of forcing it on us, that you have to, if you're a science student, you can't study commerce or something like that, or say a mix of courses or whatever, right? So same thing happened in college also, right? So now I think they have corrected it. So the first point becomes very clear. So few words came out after all this thinking that I did: enrichment, self, meaningful, togetherness, right? So the whole thing is enrichment. So that is why learners should always strive to strive for enrichment. So that is something that the learner should engage in. Why? Because it fills their day with color, with joy, higher joy. So few more words have come out. So I don't know how these words connect with every learner, right? Or how what is important to whom, I don't know. But these words have come out: colors, higher joy, enrichment. So that's it. That's the whole point, I think. So that is why an education program is there in the first place, right? So that life can have all those nice and sexy words, and some of it can come to you on a daily basis, right? And it is something for self, something that you do for you, and nothing can replace an enrichment focused life, okay, or an enrichment focused say endeavor or effort, okay. So that is why those things exist. Now the question is that do those things end when you come out of school. No, that is not true, right? In fact, you are just 15. So if you're 15 or say 16 or 17, you're 5 years ago you were in class 5. So it's quite natural, right, that the whole of your life is left in front of you, and one can only use that education program as a foundation for uh, good life later on, right? Or at least have a set of values to hold yourself up when you're being challenged, right? So these words kind of give you an identity also. So that identity is very important. So because what is the point of enrichment if the first thing that you do in later stages is let go of that, right? Or if others are letting go, you let go. So that enrichment should act as a capsule later on in life. That enrichment is an enhanced identity. So another phrase came out, right? Enhanced identity. So that enrichment is an enhanced identity that you develop, right? And so life should be uh, negotiated with the other so that enhanced identity should uh, act as a whole, right? In which you do your thinking and decision making, and in which you act, right? So that's the whole point. Now what would be the outcome? The outcome would be enhanced identity itself, right? Or enrichment itself. So the enrichment program should never end, of course. That's quite self evident, and it should never end, and it should um, uh, it should act as a it should act as something that you live by when you say start swimming in say more unregulated waters, right? Or uncontrolled waters, so to say. So although I don't think there is a thing called uncontrolled waters, but if there are, then you should have a hole that you know keeps you in place, and in the right place, in the good place, right? So there is a thing called good place and bad place. So the whole point of such an activity or such a program, which I think the board is trying to do, or which other thinkers or whatever, whoever depth individuals, they're trying to um, make accessible for everyone, is that an enriched whole, right? So that is something that you should have. Now you cannot control behavior of others. That is also there. All you can do is control, sort of have standards for yourself, and have a whole uh, with which you live, right? Or have a whole by which, or have a whole which you live by, right? So those are those are kind of ingredients or ingredient that you should have in your enrichment um, while you enrich yourself, you should have those things in place. So what would be the outcome? The outcome would be, like I said, few words have come out, right, after all this pondering over last 25 odd minutes. Good place, bad place. So you want to be in good place. Enrichment, higher joy, colors. That's a lot, right? So these are the things that you want. Now you must be thinking that in this whole discussion, what were the things that did not come out, right? Income did not come out. I'm not saying those things don't matter, but at least in this discussion, that did not come out. Place did not come out. Nationality did not come out. So these are things that are, and other many things, right, did not come out. Thinking even did not come out, right? And this is something which is very basic, which every human being or every individually and collectively we should I'm not even saying aspire for, I'm saying we should have, because once you have that, then you become an enriched place. So exactly, so when you do enrichment of self or enrichment of you, then the whole place whole place becomes enriched, right? Which is what we want, right? Which is what we want for India, which we want for our classrooms. So first we have to enrich our classrooms, because classrooms together make the country. So once classrooms are enriched, then our planet will become enriched, right? Pretty basic, right? It's logic. So that is why we should have enrichment. That is why we should focus. In fact, I would say the entirety of our focus should be on enrichment, right? So anybody who is important, nobody listens to me, but like if anybody wants to, I do these things so that at least there is something out there. Well, I have thoughts, so I know these thoughts have zero takers. They are not important in, say, day-to-day life. If you are working, say, in say Delhi Metro, you're doing your job, you're doing your shifts. So ये सब आपके लिए important नहीं है इतना, ठीक है? But so the first part of the discussion, I think I went a little bit in theory. Why you should have truth in the first place. Truth से कुछ नहीं होता यार, मतलब see, your skills don't change. So I won't lie to you, right? But truth, it makes you a better person. It will give you more power to stand tall in the face of something which is outside good, or something which is outside enrichment, because you want enrichment, right? So, and I have already proven that the enrichment thing does not depend on income or anything. It is for everyone. So that is the whole point. So that is what people should do. So first thing every human being should have is basic human right, to know the truth, right? This is basic human existence is to have truth. बिना truth के क्या हिला है? But I'm not saying that truth replaces other things. That if you say search for truth, and like I said in the beginning, I don't know what truth is. How can we know, right? We're just human beings. But enrichment is something that we understand. So enrichment is definitely some of the truth. तो यार वो तो होना ही चाहिए ना. So that is why, and I think everything should be about enrichment, and everything should come out of it. Because the thing is, logic भी तो है ना एक चीज़ थी. How can you solve problems unless you're enriched? So a lot of effort collectively. Like I said, class is individual and collective. Classroom, right? Because togetherness was the word that I think the board used or something, or I used. So enrichment activity should be done together, right? So enrichment of self. So self is also important. Individual learner. So I use the word learners, and I also use the word togetherness. So both those things have a play, right? Right. So learner is obviously, learning activities for the learner themselves, right? But it is enriched if you do it. So enrichment of learner is togetherness. So I'm not saying that enrichment is not important or anything. ऐसा नहीं है. But the whole point of enrichment is together, right? Right. Although sometimes you might have to do it solo. So that's just how. I mean, if you need to surf. Sometimes you surf solo. Sometimes you surf with everybody else, right? But the whole thing is that your own surfing activity should get improved, right? That's the whole point, right? So I'll take 10 more minutes because the sun is setting. So I got a good 30 minutes out of it. I mean, out of the time space that I had. Because after this natural light will go. So थोड़ा सा issue हो जाएगा because I don't think my phone will be able to capture. I'll talk about education a lot more now. Right. So I would say this is a bit of a philosophy of education lecture. Okay. But anyway, see. So that is what we want. Enrichment of self. That is what we. So I would say logically, मतलब see we try to solve problem. अगर आप enrichment ही नहीं होगी तो फिर problem solving कैसे हो सकती है? How can you solve problem without enrichment? So you should have enrichment which will automatically solve problems, right? तो मतलब अगर मैं ये नहीं कह रहा है या नहीं है, that is for other people to think who have more knowledge on these things. I'm just thinking. So the logic is that we should have enrichment because the problem solving process will become better, right? In fact, not only better, I think it is logically redundant to have problem solving without enrichment, because how can those problems be solved? So either you don't want to solve. If you want to solve problem, you can only you have to enrich. Which enrichment will solve problems, right? Now I'm not saying that practical realities was okay, but the idea has to be very clear, right? Or even that thing, if you are doing something say without thinking, so at least even that should be filed under enrichment and clearly filed as due to lack of time, more thought could not be applied. That is all part of enrichment, right? It enriches the whole thing, right? So that when that happens, then everything. And I did not think of these